e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, e takes d4, knight takes d4, queen h4, knight b5, bishop b4 check, bishop d2, queen takes bishop e2, king d8, short castle, bishop takes d2, knight takes d2, queen f4, g3, queen h6, knight c4, knight ge7, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, e takes knight takes d4, bishop c5, bishop e3, queen f6, c3, queen g6, knight d2, knight ge7, h4, bishop takes d4, c takes d4, d5, h5, queen e6, h6, g6, rook h4, short castle, g3, d takes e4, rook takes e4, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, e takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight takes c6, b takes c6, e5, queen e7, queen e2, knight d5, c4, bishop a6, b3, g5, bishop a3, d6, e takes d6, queen takes e2 check, bishop takes e2, bishop g7, c takes d5, bishop takes e2, king takes e2, bishop takes a1, e4, e5, knight c3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, d3, bishop c5, f4, d6, knight f3, bishop g4, knight a4, knight d4, c3, knight takes f3 check, g takes f3, bishop h3, knight takes c5, d takes c5, rook g1, knight h5, rook g5, knight takes f4, rook takes e5 check, knight e6, rook h5, bishop g2, king f2, g6, rook h6, bishop h1, king g1, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, e4, e5, knight c3, knight c6, bishop knight f6, d3, bishop c5, f4, d6, knight f3, knight g4, knight g5, short castle, f5, knight f2, queen h5, h6, knight takes f7, queen f6, knight takes h6 check, king h8, knight f7 check, king g8, queen h8 checkmate, e4, e5, knight c3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, queen g4, queen f6, knight d5, queen takes f2 check, king d1, queen takes g7, bishop e6, knight h3, bishop takes h3, rook f1, queen takes g2, queen takes f7 check, king d8, queen f8 check, king d7, rook f7 check, knight ce7, rook takes e7 check, knight takes e7, queen takes e7 check, king c6, queen takes c7 checkmate.